open shortly, which means it's nearly time for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza.
How's it going, guys? It is Ryan here, and welcome to a brand new video where we are back once again with the Manor Racing Challenge, and this time we are at Monza, which is mainly low downforce, so it should help us a bit, but we have to wait and see on here. So we're into qualifying then. This is our best lap of the session we did, as we're going to be coming down the straight now, and the mod for the 2016 season for 2015 will be in the description below as well. But you can actually see we're coming down the straight, we're hitting over 220 miles an hour into turn 1, and I thought here Rosberg was going to hold us up, but very kindly sticks to the outside and we take the inside, and we didn't really lose much time there, so thank you Rosberg, you've done something right for a change. As we come round then towards the start of the middle sector, and Rosberg's still with us, and I was just hoping he didn't pass me on this lap, but we set a 28.9 first sector, which is pretty respectable for the Manor, as it's pretty good on this mod in terms of top speed, but in the corners it's not that great. There's a lot of angle to steering lock in there, as you can see through these corners. We're going to be now going onto the back straight where the DRS is enabled, one of two on the track, as we're going to be starting the last sector, as Rosberg still not getting past us, so he may be just letting it off on his outlap just to be very cautious to not get any dirty air, which will hurt his tyres on the front end. But as you can see from Ascari, we've got a bit of issue there with the setup, but I had to run a very low setup, downforce set, and it's actually the same set I used for AOR, if you may have seen that when we were last here. If you want to watch that, I'll put a link into that in the description as well. You guys can look over if you want to. But we're coming across the line through Parabolica, and it's going to be a 125.2, which is pretty good for a Manor, so I'll definitely take that, but we'll see where that has put us. And it had put us P2, which shocked me even more, but we're half a second off Hamilton, who got the quickest time, so it was a bit congested in that qualifying session, with Sergio Perez in P3 as well, with Massa in 4th, and Daniel Ricciardo completing the top 5, with the two Germans of Hulkenberg and Rosberg 6th and 7th, with Valtteri, Bottas and Raikkonen in 8th and 9th, and Vettel in 10th place. But now, let's head to the race.
The time has come for the drivers to put all they've learned this weekend into reality. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix.
So we're here then on the grid, P2, and as I said in the last episode, we will struggle on race fuel at the start, because this car is, one, I've got the low downforce set on, and secondly, this car is a handful on high-end fuel, so it should be quite interesting. But the rights are on, as we'll be racing here in Monza, and it's a poor start from us there as Hamilton gets a stonker, but even better is Sergio Perez, who's going past us round the outside of us and takes second place from us, as we're going to be going into turn 1 now, trying to hold off on Felipe Massa and his teammate there behind, and also Hulkenberg trying to make a move on Massa up to P4, and does so it's a great start for the Force Indias, with both in the top 5, but Hamilton and Perez, as you can see, are already gone. They're already about a second ahead of us as we cross the start of the first sector. 8/10 of a second the gap between Perez and myself, with Hulkenberg half a second behind, so this should be quite interesting, this race, as Monza is quite unpredictable on the tyre wear. You can maybe go for a 1-stop, but the most likely option is going to be a 2-stop strategy, with 2 options and a prime, so we need to see what the strategy is going to be, as Hamilton and Perez are pulling away from us, and Hulkenberg is slowly crawling to us. Not that quickly, but he is getting there as we go into a Sky for the first time. Very tricky section this is in the Manor, I've got to say. Just a slight twitch on the wheel there, which gave us a bit of a poor exit on there, so we have to start defending, as here comes Hulkenberg down the back straight towards Parabolica. He's going down the inside of us before Parabolica and gets the move done and moves up to P3 on there, but he just goes very slowly mid-corner, and we hit the back of him, and here comes Sebastian Vettel in that Ferrari with a Williams as well behind him, which is most likely going to be Felipe Massa. But we're going to be going round the outside of Hulkenberg down the straight, and here comes Vettel and Felipe Massa, as they're going to try and get into the party now, with 3 wide behind us actually into turn 1, and Vettel down the inside of Hulkenberg and moves up to P4, as Hamilton is slowly pulling away from Sergio Perez, as you can just see there. So this is going to be quite an interesting scrap between us, Vettel and co, as Vettel now is all over the back of us. He's in that slipstream of the Manor as we go into the start of the middle sector, and as you can see, Perez is already 1.8 seconds up the road, and we begin a warning for extending the track, which is pretty respectable, I think, around this track, because this is very common for people cutting and extending. So I'm glad that they've got something right with the corner cutting rules, as a lot of you have been complaining about that it is a good thing, but it's a bit too strict in some areas. But anyway, coming down where the DRS is, and Vettel looked like trying to make a move around the outside, but backed out of it to wait until the little straight before Parabolica to make his move. But we're just again making a bit of a twitch there through the corner, and Vettel's got a beautiful run down this little straight towards Parabolica and goes round us and up to P3 he goes, as we were just going to stay behind him for the time being and see how we go in this, as we get a beautiful exit there. He's taking a bit of us there from the blinking of light on the back of his car as Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the race, as we'll get a nice run now on Vettel. Down the inside we go, down towards turn 1. He's just got the much better than us in a straight line, but we break that later. But he's actually coming back on us there, so we've got to give him the space, but we hold it and we stay in P3. So we've made a great start here in this race, but we're going to go around a few corners later, and the DRS has been enabled, so we are going to be sitting ducks now down this back straight, and here he comes. Vettel easily passes us. Up to P3 he goes, as that's going to be probably the issue we're going to have in this race with the DRS. They are quick in a straight line. Again, the twitch through Ascari. The car does not like the dirty air as well, so being behind cars is going to be a bit interesting throughout this race. And here comes Nico Rosberg, now the next man to try and make a sniff on us, up to try and get up to P4 in this race. And we're going to be getting an alright exit, trying to get some slipstream from Vettel, as Hamilton's gap is increasing even more to Sergio Perez. As we're trying to get, we've got DRS, but it's not going to do anything here, because here comes Rosberg, full on pelt rocket speed there from the German, and gets past us, and up the P4 he goes, as Vettel's starting to pull away a bit from us as well. So I think we're going to not be keeping up with the pace of Vettel, Rosberg and Hamilton in this race. Maybe Perez later on in the race, we've got to wait and see, as we're going to be now round here onto lap 4 as we get DRS again, just about on Rosberg, and here comes Valtteri Bottas behind, as Rosberg is all over the back of Vettel, but we go wide at Ascari and lose a position to Bottas in the process. And here comes his teammate Felipe Massa, as we're in a Williams sandwich right now, but luckily we get a bit of slipstream from Bottas, which holds Massa off only just, as we'll be braking now into Parabolica and toe the inside and move up back to P5 on there, as already someone has retired from the race has just spotted that, as Rosberg now sets a 25.3 fastest lap of the race, and we get luckily DRS as well from Bottas, who's overtaken by his teammate, and also Kimi Räikkönen as well in the Ferrari, all battling for 5th place with myself, as Rosberg and Vettel are battling over to catch up to Sergio Perez, which they are ever so slightly. But we're going on now to lap 5, and as you can see, Bottas has the advantage now with the slipstream. He's going to go down the inside with the DRS and just about hold it off there as he cuts the corner. Nick gives a bit of contact there, pushing us wide on out of Ascari, but we just get glued to his car again, which gives Massa the chance to try and pass us, but he backs out of it. Just seeing the bit of contact between us, so he doesn't want to be in it on there. But he's looking to try and go down the inside of us there to Parabolica, but has to back out of it. But we're going to be all over the back of Bottas now, as we'll be now getting close to the stage of pit stop window, as Rosberg sets another fastest lap at 25.3, as we will get the DRS now on Bottas, as we're going to go round his outside and move back to P5, as we're going to be doing the best of the late breakers into turn 1, as Rosberg and Vettel are all over the back of Sergio Perez. So Perez may be struggling with tyre wear already, as you can see the tyres aren't too bad, so we can maybe extend this option run to maybe lap 9, lap 10 as a possibility, so we have less time on the primes and we can be quick on the last stint of the race. But we're going now to the double right-hander here of lap 8, sorry, as Perez has been overtaken by both Vettel and Rosberg in the process. So I think it's Vettel up to P2 on there, but we've got plenty of fuel as well, which is quite a good thing, because this track is fuel consumption very bad. It's very bad around here, as Bottas takes the inside again and moves up to P5 again on there, as we're just going to short shift just to help us a bit with the grip levels and the traction out of Ascari, which has all helped us a bit there, but we get a bit of slipstream from Bottas, which may help us avoid being passed in by Massa. But Massa's going down the outside of us into Parabolica, but just doesn't have the grip around that corner to get past us up to P6, so we'll stay in P6 for the time being, as Massa is the first man to blink out of us in this battle, and so does Vettel as well, and Rosberg. So I think that's Rosberg, I'm not too sure, it could be Hamilton actually, but we're going to be going down the inside then of Valtteri Bottas and up to P3 we go, as I believe it is a Mercedes leader. I think it could be Rosberg actually who is leading this race, and Perez is only up the road from us. So this is going to be quite an interesting moment in this race. What's going to happen as we go into the pit stop window? Are we going to jump a few people, maybe even jump Perez if we can get a bit closer to him in this later stage of the pit stop window, as we're only 4 seconds behind him, so it's not really that much of a gap. So we can maybe, just maybe, try and get closer to him and make a move on him during that pit stop window here. But it's a very overcast weather, so we've got to keep an eye on the weather, as it could rain or it could just stay like this, but it will help our tyres with the track temperatures not that high, as Bottas goes down the inside of us again with the DRS and back up to P3 before Ascari. So just getting a bit of loss of grip there, as for Ascari once again with the dirty F on Bottas, and Bottas is gone. You can just see it, he's going to be out of DRS there. There comes Kimi Raikkonen, who's next attempt to go around the outside of us into Parabolica, but we just hold the inside there, but he's not giving up yet. Props to Raikkonen for the battle, but he will be going into the pit lane along with us as well, and there's a bit of a glitch here as we go past Bottas in the pit lane and we move up to P3 in the most bizarre of ways. I don't know how that happened, and I don't know why Co-Masters did that. So one of the issues that I have with this game is you can go full power in the pit lane, but it is fixed for 2016 as you'll be doing manual pit entry, so that's a good thing, I guess, on there. But we're going to be coming out just behind Perez there, so we actually get a bit of time on him in that pit stop window, in the pit stop, sorry, as Vettel has already gone past there into out of turn 2 he goes, and we will stay in P5, but we are closer to Perez, as you can see, which is what we wanted from this pit stop window at the start. But we're on the prime tyres, whereas the rest of the pack are on the option, so we will be the slowest in this part of the stint, but at the end we'll be quicker. So that's another thing we can take away from this. So if we get passed by a few people, it's not going to bother us anytime soon. So that's the one thing there. But we're going to be coming into turn 1 then on lap 12, and Perez is slowly putting away from us. Obviously he is on the soft compound tyre, as the rest of the guys are behind us. So that's one thing we've got to think about. We've got to stay in clean air, and luckily and hopefully avoid being passed by the likes of Massa, Raikkonen and Bottas, who are all fighting still for P6. As we make a block up there into the chicane, and we have to cut the corner and slow down, which will bring Massa and co back into the hunt for P5. So that's not what we wanted, and they could even get DRS here, which is not what I wanted at all. But even more bad is Perez is gone away from us there, as we're going to go now onto lap 14 of this race. And as you can see, the back, they're just not really pulling away. We're pulling away slightly from Massa, which is what we wanted, but Perez is slowly losing his tyres, obviously, because they are on the options, so they will be struggling ever so slightly for grip, as the gap's 4.5, whereas Massa is 2 seconds. So that's what we needed at this point, as Hamilton crosses the line to start lap 15 and has already pulled a massive gap on us there. But as you can see on lap 16, Matt Raikkonen is all over the back of us and leading that train of Massa and Bottas on there, as again we make a mistake again at the same corner, which gives Raikkonen the chance to pass us, but just can't do it. Who is now side by side with us, goes round the outside of the first spot of this right-hander, and Bottas out of nowhere down the inside, and as Raikkonen and Bottas pass us both on there, as we go very wide again, which gives Massa now the chance to try and pass us, as we get the DRS on Raikkonen from when Raikkonen passed us there, as Bottas will go down the inside of him and we'll move up to P5 as Raikkonen and Bottas side by side. Raikkonen has to go off-roading to avoid making contact with Bottas. We have to brake as Raikkonen came back on the track, which gives Massa now the chance to pass us into Parabolica, as you can see right now. As we're going to be thinking about pitting this time as well, we've got to think about that, as Raikkonen gave a bit of a tap to Bottas, but goes round the outside of Parabolica and moves up to P5, as we'll be taking the pit stop to try and get past both of them in the pit stop window by doing the undercut. So we're going to see if this will work. It is a gamble, so we may have to be in a battle with some guys who aren't really going to be fighting for in this race as we're going now into the pit box, as it's a very good stop there for the boys. It's a 2.4 as we'll be just about coming out, I believe, behind. We're going to see if Verstappen goes through, Nasser goes through, and the question is as Jody Palmer also goes through. So we're down to P13, so it's not too bad actually, ahead of Jenson Button as well, which is what I wanted. But the question is, when will these cars in front of us hit? That's going to be the big talking point in this race, and if we're going to be catching up there. So we're going to go now a few corners later, and we're all over the back of Jody and Palmer now, as Rosberg, I believe, is in the pits as well, making his final stop of the race. He'll be going onto the prime tyres, as we're all over the back now of Palmer, as we've got Nasser and Co ahead of us, and even Magnussen, all fighting over, I believe it's for 9th place. So let's see how this goes, as we're going to get a lot of slipstream from Palmer, but we're going to stay behind him to get the DRS, just in case he pits. We get a nice run and try and get past Massa and Co. So we're going to go round the outside, but we switch to the inside of Palmer as we get a brilliant exit there and take P12 as Palmer's actually come across us and actually makes contact with us, trying to go into the pit lane. He went, as we just hold it and survive, not hitting the wall and retiring. But that was a scary moment for us, and actually Palmer retired from the race from that contact with us. But even more annoying is Massa is ahead of us from the pit stops, which really frustrated me on that. It's a bit bizarre from the AI. You could have just backed off and then let us through, then went into the pit lane. So I think I've never seen that before from the AI, being that aggressive into the pit lane. So we'll have to wait and see what the stewards will have to say about that at the end of the race. But we're going to be all over Massa now, as he is on the prime tyre. So we are on the faster tyre for the last 10 laps of this race. The question for me is, how long will these options last? If they can do the full 10 laps at full capacity, we will have to wait and see. But we will have the DRS on Massa as we get a beautiful exit on there in the slipstream with the DRS. This should be an easy move on for Massa, us on Massa, and we move up to P8. And the next man is Felipe Nasr, who most likely will be pitting anyway for his option tyres. So we don't have to worry about him for the time being, as I think that's Bottas and Raikkonen in the pit lane right now. So we're going to see if we can try and get past them and get back up to, I believe it's going to be P5 again once Nasr pits, which I believe he will pick this time by, and he does indeed go into the pit lane. So the question is, are we going to get ahead of Bottas and Raikkonen? The answer to that question, as you can see, is no. They are ahead of us as they just come out the pit lane. We're going to try and get some slipstream, and obviously they have to brake a bit earlier for the corner, as we are now right at the back of the train that is being led by Raikkonen. So in all, it's not too bad that happened. But we're going to get some lovely slipstream from Bottas, which will lead us on to the DRS a few corners later, as we're going to get that and obviously hold off Massa, which is a good thing, as Bottas and Raikkonen again are fighting for position as they go side by side for a Ascari, which will help me and Massa. There's been a bit of contact between the two of them as well, which gives us a beautiful exit as well. For the first time in this race, we've actually nailed Ascari, as we're going to go down the inside of Raikkonen, who backs off to try and get some DRS for the straight, as we will move up to P6, and we're going to go down the inside of Bottas as well, out of Parabolica, and it's now a drag race between us and the Williams. And the Williams, as you can see, starts to pull away from us, but with the DRS, as you can see, we pull away. But behind us, Massa is going to pass Raikkonen as well, as you can see in the mirrors, as we will take the inside line and stick and hold off P5. Just give a bit of space for Bottas, and Massa also passes Raikkonen and his teammate and moves up to P6. So he's having a cracker of a race here. Massa overtaking galore going on in this race between four quick drivers here, as Massa will go down the inside of us into Ascari and cuts the corner again. So he's got to be close to getting a penalty surely on there. The AI, I have no idea when passing through there, they cut the first part of Ascari. So we need to see what happens there. As Massa passes us, his teammate is going round the outside of us as well, and even Raikkonen as well, trying to go down the inside of us into Parabolica, and we will hook it round the outside to stick and hold off P7. Sorry, we're going to go on the outside of Bottas here at Parabolica and get the slipstream from Massa, hopefully, but it doesn't work for us, as Raikkonen now will pass us as well, and we drop to P8. So as you can see, just the speed difference is just ridiculous with all the cars around us. Even though we have got a good top speed, we just don't have the speed compared to Raikkonen, Bottas and Massa, but we still not going to give up then, as we're still P8 with Verstappen really far back, so I don't think we have to worry about him anytime soon. But as you can see, Bottas, Massa, and Raikkonen are pulling away from us, so we need to stay with this pack as long as possible. Hopefully they will overtake each other even more and slow down, which will give us a bit of a chance to pass them back again, as we get a bit of oversteer there out of that corner. And we brake really late there, have a bit of a lock up there, which pushed us wide and nearly going into the wall there, so very good save from us there. But that is most likely going to be the end of our chances of a P5 finish, sadly. So we're going to see if we can do anything in our powers to catch up and hopefully see them have any contact or whatever, as it's 3 seconds the gap between them. But it doesn't seem the case, and as you can see, as Hamilton takes the victory here, the gap is still around 3-4 seconds, so it's not really going to work out for us unless they all take each other out in the last main 2 corners, which is obviously Ascari and Parabolica, which is now 3.2. So if they don't make each other, if they don't crash into each other at the last corner, we're going to be staying in P8, which theoretically is not too bad for us in a manner, but it's disappointing considering we started P2 on the grid. That happened, but we have a bit of oversteer there, shifting too quickly down the gears. But we're going to come out Parabolica, and for the second race in a row, we're going to complete the challenge once again, and we will finish in P8, as that was quite an exhilarating last 10 laps here in Monza, as Pascal Wehrlein once again very happy with his performance once again with that P8 finish. But let's look at the results then for the Italian Grand Prix here, with, as I said, Lewis Hamilton takes the victory from his teammate Nico Rosberg, as it's a Mercedes 1-2 with Rosberg actually, considering he was P7 at one point. He did pretty well with Vettel in 3rd, with Perez dropping to 4th, with Raikkonen in 5th, Bottas in 6th, Massa 7th, us in 8th, Verstappen 9th, and Magnussen completing the top 10 here at Monza. But that will be the end of the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching it, and if you do like it, guys, make sure to slap a like on this video and also subscribe for more F1 content on this channel. Next time by, guys, we will be going to a track that is really bad for this car in terms of downforce, and that track, guys, is Silverstone. So that's going to be quite a tough one for us, so we're going to see if that is the case. If you've got any tracks in mind for me to do, then post them in the comments below. I would really like to see what you guys want me to do, and I will do it for you guys. But until next time, guys, once again, have a great day, and I shall see you guys very soon for another video on the channel. Until then, have a good day, guys, and take care.